Salut tout le monde. Alors je suis vraiment désolée, je pense que cette fois-ci normalement vous devez m'entendre. Normalement c'est tout bon. Alors je suis vraiment désolée pour les petits soucis techniques du jour, mais on n'a pas raté le lancement, on est à 1 minute 30 environ. J'espère que cette fois-ci tout fonctionne. Salut Tortue, salut Astro, salut tout le monde, je suis vraiment désolée. Me voilà enfin, normalement cette fois-ci tout fonctionne. J'espère que vous m'entendez bien. Alors. Voilà, donc on n'est plus qu'à quelques secondes du lancement maintenant. Ok, merci merci, super. Je suis vraiment désolée. Hein. Donc là, on est ensemble pour un lancement Atlas 5. Salut Tomo. Et ben voilà, décollage. Heureusement, je suis arrivée juste à temps.
Carrying JPSS 2 and Lofton, a new weather observatory for our planet, and a test for planetary exploration.
Atlas PU has gone to closed loop control.
Yeah, Daryl, as we heard Omar Baez say, LSP 100 on its way also. We're very happy for this 100th mission, the Launch Services Program. Let's listen in as Jesse Gonzalez.
And coming up on 30 seconds into flight, vehicle is a half mile in altitude, 2 miles downrange.
On voit beaucoup mieux sur la caméra au sol. Sur la caméra embarquée, il doit y avoir de la condensation.
And passing 45 seconds of the flight, continuing to see good operating parameters out of the RD-180.
The power of the Atlas V RD-180.
Coming up on a minute in the flight, the vehicle is ending its roll maneuver, and vehicle body rates are looking good.
On assiste encore à un beau décollage aujourd'hui.
Getting ready and approaching Mach 1.
Vu que je suis arrivé en retard, on peut faire un petit point sur la mission. Donc c'est un lancement JPSS 2. Donc c'est un programme collaboratif entre la NOAA et la NASA. Donc c'est l'un des 5 satellites qui composera la constellation JPSS. Donc ces engins spatiaux recueillent des mesures globales des conditions atmosphériques, terrestres et océaniques, y compris les températures de surface de la mer, de la terre, de la végétation, des nuages, des précipitations, de la couverture de neige et de glace, et également l'emplacement des incendies, des panaches de fumée, des températures et de la vapeur d'eau et d'ozone. En gros, c'est un genre de gros satellite météo. Salut Lewis. Eh bien, merci, excellente journée à toi également. On est actuellement dans la zone de max sud après la télémétrie, vous l'avez juste en bas de l'écran.
So the rocket was flying in a trajectory that's programmed in, but now closed loop is taking positional feedback from the rocket sensors to get it into the proper line for trajectory. It's going to maintain that ascent line. Beautiful shot there on board.
And RCS is now pressurizing to flight levels.
A shot from our infrared camera.
And the reaction control system has reached flight levels. System response looks good. Vehicle body rates continue to look good as well. Seeing good response out of the RD-180 engine.
Merci à tous d'être présents pour ce lancement et je suis encore vraiment désolée pour mon retard. Je suis arrivée juste à temps pour le décollage.
Going to start cooling down that Centaur engine in the second stage to prepare for its super chilled propellants to flow through the booster.
About 3 minutes and 15 seconds into flight, vehicle is now 53 miles in altitude, 67 miles downrange, traveling at 5,800 miles per hour.
télémétrie
And
n'a
now seeing the
pas l'air de bouger.
RD-180
Je pense qu'il y
throttle
a un
back
petit
to
souci avec la
maintain a
télémétrie.
5.0 G acceleration limit. Engine response continues to look good.
We're just seconds away now from booster engine cutoff.
And we did see a good response on the Centaur systems as it completed boost phase drill down. And we have BECO, booster engine cutoff. And we have successful stage separation.
With stage separation
on
now onto the
restart
Centaur.
on the RL-10.
Ah, ça y est.
And we have ignition for the first burn. RL-10 start parameters look good. And we have good indication of payload fairing jettison.
Saw a shot of that booster floating off into space.
Yeah, you can actually see the 4-meter fairing going by there too on the video. That's a great thing looking at the telemetry data. RD-180 performed very well on the first stage. Separation was clean. Payload fairings, you can see on the infrared video there on the screen, the booster falling away and the two little fairings. Pre-start.
Coming up on 5 minutes into flight, this first burn will be about 13 minutes in duration, the first of 3 burns for today's mission. Continuing to see stable RL-10 chamber pressures at the beginning of the burn.
Alors notre petit,
And also
notre
seeing
petit
stable
satellite
body rates following payload fairing jettison.
continue son avancée.
RL-10's performing very well. Pre-start was
D'ailleurs,
good.
je vais en profiter pour vous
Ignition
mettre
came out very well as we saw on the video, and as the Centaur continues to burn nominally, body rates on the vehicle look very good with payload fairing gone. JPSS-2 exposed to the environments of space.
As it warms the motor catalyst beds for operation.
Explain quickly what a body rate is.
So the body rate's the attitude of Centaur as the vehicle is moving through space. We're trying to keep everything as stable as possible. So we have an X, Y, and a Z body rate on the Centaur, and the flight computer and the RCS system continue to maintain that as we move through to get ready for separation.
And now we're moving to ULA's real-time
Passing
animation.
6 minutes in flight, the vehicle is now 250 miles in altitude,
Petit
430
sondage en
miles
attendant la
downrange,
suite.
traveling at 9,400 miles per hour.
On passe
The
sur des
animation is
images
informed
de
by real-time
synthèse.
data. As we watch the RL-10 burn and the Centaur fly, at the top of the vehicle is JPSS-2. And there you're looking at the RL-10 as it continues its burn.
And coming up on 7 minutes into flight, continuing to see stable performance across all Centaur systems, stable tank pressures, good performance out of PU, and some minor roll adjustments as Centaur optimizes the telemetry link.
Centaur with plenty of performance to get there.
Plenty of performance and everything's looking great. As we heard Jesse say, everything is performing nominally as we get ready to continue this burn for separation.
We're going to keep watching the data and listening to the launch team as we track the performance of the Centaur, getting JPSS-2 into orbit, but in the meantime, let's send it back to Megan.
Donc à voir ce que ça va donner, mais est-ce que vous y
If you're
croyez
just joining
ou
us,
non?
I'm NASA's Megan Cruz, bringing you live launch coverage from Vandenberg Space Force Base along the central coast of California. Just about 7 minutes, 34 seconds ago, we watched as a United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket lifted off at 1:49 a.m. Pacific time, and it was a spectacular sight. What a clear night. No clouds in sight. That rocket just lit up the dark sky. It's flying 2 important missions today. The primary one is to send JPSS-2 into orbit. It's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's newest joint polar weather satellite. The secondary mission is called Lofted, which will demonstrate a new type
On a
of
Astro
heat
qui nous
shield
dit
that
pour le
inflates
SLS, j'y
for
crois pas trop, mais
atmospheric
j'espère
We're gonna
aussi.
stay with you live
Mais
for
je t'avoue
every
que là,
important mission over the next 2 hours.
j'y crois plus tellement. J'ai du mal à croire même que ça va décoller
NASA's
cette
primary
année.
launch site is Kennedy Space Center in Florida, but we lifted off from California this morning because of the rocket's flight path.
Ah, du coup, on a une fenêtre entre. Donc là, ils ont décalé de 48 heures, donc on est passé du 14 au 16 et possibilité jusqu'au 19. Là, on voit à l'écran ce que notre petit satellite va faire. Donc là, on le rappelle pour ceux qui avaient raté la petite description. Donc on est sur un type de satellite météorologique qui va faire des relevés de température, donc des conditions atmosphériques, terrestres, océaniques, les températures de surface de la mer, des terres, de la végétation, des nuages. Il va faire vraiment des relevés de tout.
Joining us now is Jim Yo from the National Weather Service. Thanks so much for being here, Jim.
A pleasure to be here to talk about JPSS-2 and how the Weather Service is going to use data from it to give the best possible forecast for the nation.
Absolutely. And speaking of
voilà, effectivement, si je fais un petit point sur le sondage, tout le monde est d'accord, tout le monde répond non à 100% pour le décollage du SLS le 16. Bon, on verra bien, écoutez, on verra bien.
Forecast of 3 to 7 days, but we'll also use those data for making seasonal to season forecast and to monitor long-term trends for climate science.
Right, and that's great to see that it can help us from day to day and also long term as well, right?
It's very versatile.
Absolutely. And speaking of versatile, I know that NOAA has provided a huge suite of different satellites from JPSS to GOES as well. How does the National
On y croit. Marco qui nous dit on y croit. Eh bien, on va essayer d'y croire. On va essayer. Non, ça serait bien vraiment qu'on ait ça avant la fin, vraiment la toute fin d'année, voire l'année prochaine, ça serait bien. Mais on a marre d'attendre en plus. Vraiment. Ça fait durer le suspense.
Comes, with strong rains from the Pacific that are precipitated in California and other places on the coast. So we use those to get that long-term forecast, but then we use GOES, which are like sentinels on each coast, to provide that fine-scale, up-to-date adjustment in our forecast.
Pour l'instant, alors on est encore, il nous montre encore les images de synthèse.
Get the JPSS-2 data in our hands. How soon will it be available to the end user?
Well, the end users will start to see it in forecast in a matter of months. Typically what happens is the instruments on the satellite will be turned on one by one, and then they'll be checked out to make sure that the instruments are performing as expected and that the data are what we think they are. We'll compare them to the JPSS-1 data, for example, and then they'll go into the numerical weather prediction models, and so we'll have a seamless transition from one JPSS satellite to the next one.
Bon, écoutez, je pense qu'on n'aura rien de plus. En tout cas, on a assisté à un beau décollage. Je suis arrivée vraiment pile au bon moment. Je suis vraiment désolée pour les soucis techniques du jour. En tout cas, je vous remercie à tous d'avoir été présents aujourd'hui avec moi. Merci beaucoup. Et sur ce, je vais vous souhaiter une très bonne journée, de profiter. Et puis voilà, on se dit à bientôt. Allez, salut!
Continuous watch over the western U.S., Mexico, Central America, and the Pacific Ocean as a geostationary satellite. That means it rotates with the Earth, remaining in a fixed position in the sky.
Nous sommes go pour la mise à feu. H-.
15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8,
JPSS-2 is the
7,
third